Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly. So welcome back to part 3 of my Windows and Waterfall mini album tutorial. This is going to be the last part of this series. We're gonna put it all together, so let's get started. So hi guys, I am super excited. The album is going to be all done and put together today. As you know, this is a tutorial for JS Hobbies and Crafts. You'll find the link to the store and all the supplies on the description box down below. So we are going to get right into working on the third signature. So I am going to cut a piece of paper. This is also going to be heavyweight cardstock at 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. Then we are going to grab our scoreboard and we are going to score at 1/2 inch and at 6 3/4. So basically 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm gonna fold this along those lines, and this is going to be a belly band for this page over here. But because we are doing windows and waterfalls, we are going to add a window on this belly band before we add it into the page. So for that, I am going to use two die cuts again. So again, you can use circles, any shape that you have, if you have nesting dies like this, or you can use the method that I show you on cutting the square window using your paper trimmer. So I am going to do the smaller one, place it right on the center. So now I'm going to cut a piece of design paper that measures 6 by 7 inches, and I am going to place that right on top, and that is where we're going to do our cut. So as we did before, I'm just going to trace where this circle is, where the opening is, oval, sorry. And that's where I'm going to center my larger die. So now we're just going to glue this piece on the cardstock and go all the way around this oval, and then I'm just gonna place that down here. Okay, and now we're gonna glue the flaps. Now for this, you can also do double-sided tape if you prefer. I'm just gonna use glue, and I'm gonna center this up and down on my page. Okay, here we go, just like that. And then we're gonna add a piece of paper on the back. So I'm going to cut another piece, and this one is going to measure 6 by 8 3/4. And we're just gonna slide this one inside, just like this. And you don't have to do the whole sheet if you don't want to. You can oh, I think I cut this too big, but you can just cut a piece on the top and a piece on the bottom, and just leave the inside white, because we're going to add a picture there anyway. So I'm gonna trim this again. It's supposed to be, oh, it was supposed to be 8 1/2. That's right. So 6 by 8 1/2. And now again, I'm gonna place this inside, just like that. Okay, and now I'm just gonna glue the top and the bottom in place. And I like doing my belly bands like that because I figure when you add glue and then slide it under, a big mess starts to happen. So I'd rather slide it under first and then just glue these two sides. So now you're gonna need a piece that measures 7 1/2 by 11. So then I fold this right on half, and this is a little booklet that is going to go inside your belly band. Now I am going to cover maybe just the front of that. So this is going to be holding like a 5x7 picture maybe. So I am going to cut this at 5¼ by 7¼ just like that. And then we can put a 5x7 picture here, and you can still see a little bit of the border, or you can put a smaller picture just on the top. So I'm just gonna place it here on the center, and then I am going to slide this little, it's like a little booklet inside this belly band. So that way, instead of just adding one format, you have room for 4 pictures, and one of those pictures is going to pick through this little window. All right, so now let's work on the back. So I'm going to use a new sheet of paper, and I'm going to cut this at 8 3/4 like that by 5¼ So now we're going to score along the 5¼ inch side at 1/2 inch and at 1/4. So at 1/2 and at 3/4 inch to create a little gusset again. So now I'm just gonna fold along the score line, and I am going to glue this onto my base on the left side. So again, I'm just gonna use my glue, and I'm gonna just make it flat first and just line up the side. Okay, so just like this, and make sure that it is glued all the way down. Now I'm going to do a little waterfall. So this is gonna be like a little hidden waterfall on this side of the book. So then I cut one sheet onto 4 pieces of 5½ by 4 inches, and I'm going to score these at 1/2 inch along the 5½ inch side. So I'm going to do the same for all of these ones, and this waterfall is going to be a landscape, no, portrait portrait orientation on this side here of our opening. So I'm just gonna fold along these score lines, and I'm gonna start placing the first waterfall here along the top. So I'm just gonna use my glue, place that along the top. I'm gonna leave it a little bit, giving it a little bit of space, just like that. And make sure it's not touching your score line as well. So I'm gonna open that up and add the next one. And I have 4, so I don't know if we're probably gonna need more. Let's see. Also, I don't want to make this too bulky because I want to make sure this closes. Then we're gonna open that up, and we're gonna fold along this score line, and this 1/2 inch is actually the separation between the layouts. I got a question on that, so that's how you know how far apart they go. So then you open that up, and I'm gonna add the next one here. Place that right there. And as you can see, we have room for more, but I'm going to check first that this is not too bulky, because we are going to add pictures here as well. So let's see. So that one seems to be fine. So maybe we can add a couple more. So now I'm going to cut my design paper. So we are going to need one piece of 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and that's going to be for this flap that we did on the side, this one right here. And then we're gonna need another piece of 8 1/2. I'm gonna use the same paper. I'm just gonna take out this little brown piece, and we're gonna cut these at 8 1/2 by 6. And notice that I'm trying to cut so I have these beautiful birds showing. I love this. These are so cute. So this piece is going to go on my background right here for this page. So don't worry about this flipping over, because the waterfall is so heavy, it's going to keep the page shut down. So now I'm just gonna add this other piece, and I think this paper is so beautiful, and these flowers are so shabby. Look at that. So I'm gonna place this one down here, and then since we don't have a window on this page, I decided to use some of the negative pieces from all those windows that we were making, and just add it as a place to add a picture maybe. So I'm just gonna glue this down just right up here, and we are done with this page. So now I'm ready to add the pages into my book, and then we're gonna work on the inside covers. I just want to check first how much room we have to work with. So I am going to grab this tool that I love. I'm going to peel off just a little bit of the tape, place it on the side like that, grab my first signature. We're gonna find the center right here like so. So now we're going to insert this signature, and we're gonna make sure it is centered up and down, just like that. And now where we have it where we want it, we're gonna take off the tape, just like that. Okay, and then we're gonna turn this over and remove the tape on the back as well. So just like that. And we're gonna continue doing the same thing. So now I have signature number 2. Okay, so now we have our pages into our book, and it's starting to come together. I love how this looks. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the inside covers. So for this page, I decided to do another waterfall, and it's gonna be a little bit different than the ones that we've done before. This one is gonna have the hinges behind the paper. So I am going to cut a piece at 8 3/4 by 6 1/2. So now we're going to make the inserts for the waterfall. I'm going to line the end of the paper with the 7 3/4, which is 1 inch away here on the top. I'm gonna close this up. Actually, I'm gonna line this up with the 1 inch, and now I'm going to cut all from 1 inch all the way till 5 1/4. Okay, and then we're gonna move this over 1 inch. So we're gonna go now to 6 3/4, and we're going to do the same cut. So from 5¼ down to 1 inch. And then we're going to move this over 1 more inch. So we're gonna go to 5¾ and again we're gonna cut from 1 inch until 5¼ and then we're gonna move this over to 4¾ and we're gonna cut again from 1 to 5¼ okay. So now we have the opening pieces here, as you can see, and now we're gonna grab our cardstock. I'm gonna cut 4 pieces at 4½ by 5 inches. So now I'm going to score at 1/2 inch along the 5-inch side. So you can score at 1/2 or you could score at 4 1/2. It's the same thing. So we're just gonna do the same for all of these ones. Okay, so now we're gonna fold along the score lines and I'm going to just simply trim the corners so it's easier to insert these pieces. I am also going to round the corners of the opposite side of the flap. So I'm just gonna do this really quick. And now I'm ready to insert my pages. So I think I'm going to use this flower side. So I'm just gonna insert the first one on the same slit on the bottom, I mean. So I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and in, and I'm gonna turn this around and I'm gonna add just some glue here on my flap. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna press this down. All right, so now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. So now I'm just going to add these photo mats here as well. So these photo mats measure 4¼ by 4¼ and I did round the corners. Oh, and I also round the corners of these as well. So let me just go ahead and glue this first. And this paper is just gorgeous. Like both sides are so pretty for all the designs. Just so pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna place these down on my page, just like that. And then I'm gonna open that up and just add some of these pieces. Now for these pieces I use mainly my scraps. So make sure you use your scraps before you start cutting into new sheets. Okay, so we are done with this page. I love how that looks. And now we're gonna work on the back inside cover. So for that, I'm gonna keep it very simple. So let me move this over and I am going to cut, I'm gonna just use 2 or 3 sheets of paper. These are heavyweight cardstock again. So I need a piece that measures 7 inches by 8¾ Then I'm going to score that piece at 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna fold along the score lines, and I'm gonna put this aside. Now I'm going to cut another sheet. Again, I'm going to do 7 inches, and this time I'm going to cut 2 at 4.5. So 1 and 2, and I am going to score along the 7 inches at 1/2 inch for both of these. Okay, so again we're gonna fold along that score line. Here we go. So they have 2 more pieces, and then I am going to cut 1 more sheet, and this one is just going to be cut at 6 inches, again by 4.5. 1 and 2, and then I'm going to score 1/2 inch again along the 6 inch side. So I'm gonna do 1 and 2, and I'm gonna fold along the score lines, and now we're gonna put it all together. So I am going to start with the pieces that measures 4, and this actually measure 4.25 by 7. I said 4.5, but it is 4.25, and these 2 will be 4.25 by 6. Okay, because I think I cut them a little bit too big, so I had to trim them down. Okay, so now I am going to place one of them on the left side, and you're kind of just gonna stay away from the what do you call that, the bending point. And we're just gonna place this down, and we're gonna do this other one right here. Same thing, we're gonna stay away from that line on the spine. Okay, so you don't wanna restrain your album from opening and closing. Okay, so we're gonna start with those 2, and then we're gonna grab this smaller one, and we're going to place these 2 right on top of the first ones, so on the same side as well, to create just like a small little waterfall. And I'm gonna do the same on this other one on the bottom. Okay, so now before I place this one on the left side here, I'm going to cut a little window so we can see the picture behind it over there. So I am just going to do that with my paper trimmer. I'm going to place this, I'm going to be 1 inch away. So this measures 6.5, about 6.5. So I'm going to start at 1 inch. I'm going 1 inch from the edge here. I'm going to do 1, actually I'm going to do 1.5. So I'm going to go from 1.5 till 5. So now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to align this with the 4 inches on this side. And I'm going to go again from 1.5 till 5 inches. So here I have my window cut out, and now I'm gonna cut a sheet of design paper at 6.25 by 8.5. I'm gonna place this right here, and we're going to do the same thing with it for, I think it was page 2. We're just gonna trace where the window is, and we're gonna offset, and then we are going to make the cut. Okay, so now I have both sides covered up, and I am ready to add these to the book. So I'm just gonna add my glue, and I'm just gonna place it right here, just like that. Let's make sure these 2 will close without a problem. Okay, perfect. I love it. And then once you put your picture in here, it will pick through. So I'm not gonna add paper on these two flaps, but I will cover the bottom, the back with some of my paper. I was saving this beautiful piece. It's gorgeous. So I'm just gonna cut these at 8.5, and I think it will be 6.5. I'm not really sure, so I'm going to just simply pencil mark where I'm going to cut these, just about right there. And there we go. Now I'm just gonna glue this down, and here we go. So the pages are finished. The book is pretty much done. So now what we're going to do is just simply create the inserts with the tabs. So now we're gonna make the inserts for the pages. I'm simply going to be doing these straight onto the cardstock because it is very sturdy, so I think it will be fine, and you can enjoy both sides of the design. So I'm gonna use my punch board to create the tabs. So I am going to place this little piece on the tab side, and I'm just going to place this down. Now if your paper has orientation, make sure that this is up and this is down. So I'm just gonna punch there, then I'm gonna take off this paper, flip that over, and then you're gonna line it up. You have three options: a small, medium, or large. So I am going to use the medium, just like that. And then for the extra, we're just gonna place that here, just line it up, and it's already scored or measured exactly where you need to cut it. So I'm gonna close that, and we're just gonna use this little piece to trim it out. And there you go, super easy. So now we have the side tabs. For the bottom, you will do exactly the same. Now I'm gonna place this little piece on the corner side, and I am going to round my corners like this. Okay, so you will need two of those. So now I'm going to do my center tab. I'm simply going to line this up here with 8.5. I'm going to punch here, and then we're going to turn this around just like that, and I'm going to do the same thing here, line it up with the medium tab, and then I'm just going to trim the extras. So we are done making the album. I will continue embellishing the pages, and I'll do a final video reveal once I am done. I'm also going to announce the winner to this little wooden piece when I do the final walkthrough of the album. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. I will link JS Hobbies and Crafts on the description box down below, together with the supplies of everything that you will need to make this album. I want to thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.